Hello, Kevin Mills here on a gorgeous June day in Minnesota, 2017. We're here today to talk about snare drum technique. Now, if you know anything about drums, you know that a drum is a very dynamic instrument. It can be played very softly, it can be played very loudly, and there's all the various degrees of the spectrum in between. But when we're first getting our snare drum technique together, it's really efficient to just focus on the outer ends of that spectrum. If we work on the loud end and work on the soft end, the rest of it takes care of itself really quite nicely. So we're going to talk about two-level drumming. In two-level drumming, there's two types of notes. There's loud notes and soft notes. There's an accented note and an unaccented note. So if I say loud or if I say accented, those are synonyms. If I say soft or unaccented, those mean the same thing. So here's what we've got. We've got a loud stroke. If we're going to hit the drum for a loud stroke, we start with a stick essentially vertical and smack it. Okay? If we're going for a soft stroke, the drumstick should be 3 inches above the head. All right? So we've got two types of notes, loud and soft. But we always prepare for the next note. Now the next note could be either loud or soft. So that gives us 4 types of strokes. Here we go. Here's the full stroke. It starts high and ends high. That's for a loud note that will be followed by a loud note. The downstroke starts high and ends low. That's for a loud note that will be followed by a soft note. The tap starts low, ends low. That's for a soft note that will be followed by a soft note. And then we have an upstroke, which starts low and ends high. That's a soft note followed by a loud note. Okay? 4 stroke types. Here they are again. Full, down, tap, up. That's all we need. So I'm going to give you some exercises that I have devised. Let me just say this though, everything that you're about to see under the heading of two-level drumming is gleaned from a very important technique book called Accent on Accents by the authors Elliot Fine and Marv Dahlgren. I had the great privilege of studying privately with both Elliot and Marv, and they both left a huge positive impact on my musicianship. So I respect these men greatly, and their book is really fabulous. Here we go. Two-level drumming. Exercise 1. This first series of exercises will all be played with the right hand several times, then with the left hand several times, then both hands in unison several times. We'll talk about that in just a second. First of all, here's exercise number 1, where everything is a full stroke. Now, that's the easiest one for a young drummer to get because that's the way kids like to hit drums. But there is a little bit of technique here that we have to think about. We don't hit the drum and then lift the stick. We have this complete stroke that starts here and ends here. And I don't think of any dead time in this stroke. Okay? It's one fluid motion down and back up. There's the full stroke. So here's exercise 1. First I'll do it with my right hand, then my left, and then both times together. I'll just do it 2 times in each of those configurations. Now when I do both hands in unison, I really try to get a mirror image going on here. My left stick and my right stick should come down at the same rate and go back up to exactly the same starting level. Okay, that's important when you're doing the unison one. Here's the second one. I'm just going to do this right hand alone. Taps. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and... Now we're moving on to number 3. This gets a whole lot more interesting because we're mixing and matching. This number 3 has a downstroke, a tap, and an up. So, down, tap, tap, up, down, tap, tap, up. Here's an interesting thing that I see with most of my students. When they do a tap, first of all, they think, oh, I have to hit the drum. Well, I better lift my stick up. You don't have to lift the stick up. You're already 3 inches above the head, and all we want is a soft little tap. So just let the stick go down, okay? Let it go down. Don't prep it and then send it down. If you prep it, you're going to get a note that's too loud. So here's the tap. Here's the upstroke. Now the upstroke should sound the very same as a tap. Here's the tap. Here's the upstroke. But a young student will always go tap, upstroke, because they're thinking of this ending position and it's polluting the downstroke. So here's a tap, here's an upstroke. All right, they should sound identical. We don't do anything different until after contact has been made on the upstroke. That's where it differs from the tap. Tap, upstroke. Tap, upstroke. Okay? Here's number 3. I've got to throw in some more technical baseline concept here for you. We are using nothing but wrists. These full strokes do not engage the elbow joint or the forearm. The forearm is just something to attach the wrist to my body, okay? The forearm's not doing anything. It's all wrist. The hands are flat, the thumbs are on the side, the sticks are encircled by all fingers. We're not doing anything like this. It's all fingers wrapped around. Now, if you're playing Vic Firth sticks, today I'm not, can you believe that? Put your thumbs right on those American flags and you'll be properly positioned to play. Here's number 4. I'll do this one with my left hand. Upstroke, downstroke, tap, tap. And here I go. Okay? Here's number 5. I'll do this with both hands together. Tap, up, down, tap, tap, up, down, tap. Here's number 6. Tap, tap, up, down. I'll take it a little faster. Here I go. Tap, tap, up, down, tap. Here's number 7. Downstroke, upstroke, downstroke, upstroke. I'll start slow. This one has a little bit more technical control required. Down, up, down, up. Okay, up tempo. Number 8, I'll do with both hands together. Up, down, 1, and ready to go. Here's another thought. Doing this locking of the stick, you know, if you just hit a drum hard and just kind of let your hand go, it's going to rebound probably 8, 9, 10, 11 inches high off the drum. But we're trying to lock it into place at 3 inches, right? Every young drummer squeezes the crud out of the stick to make it lock down and puts a ton of tension in the forearm. What I do is now there is some tension required, obviously. But as soon as I've got it in this low position, I just relax. I just relax. I suggest you do the same. We don't want to do this in such a way that our arms get tighter and tighter and tighter. We've got to build in some relaxation. So when I'm doing taps, my stick could be pulled out by a kitten, okay? There's not much tension there. I'm going to do number 8 for you again. 1, and here I go. Nine is fun because now I have 2 types of loud strokes, the downstroke and the full stroke. Down, tap, up, full, down, tap, up, full, down, tap, up, full, down, tap. Number 10, up, full, down, tap, up. Number 11, full, full, down, up. Number 12, up, full, full, down. All right. For measures 13 through 23, we will use alternate sticking. When you're practicing these on your own, you should do your right hand lead several times, and then left hand lead for several repetitions. But for 13, I'm just going to do right hand lead. They're all full strokes. Here's 14, quite a bit easier. On the ears. Here's 15. So the right hand is doing a downstroke and an upstroke. The left hand is just tapping. This is one of the keys to success on this type of concept. If you have one hand that is doing something the same every time, you can just kind of relegate that to the subconscious and say, okay, left hand, you're just going to tap. You're just going to tap. The other hand is going to do some switching around. In a situation like this, where my left hand is just tapping, I use my left hand as the guide. When my right hand does it upstroke, I want to make sure that it's starting at the same height of all the left hand taps. So I'm using the left hand as the model for the right hand upstroke. Here's number 16. I'm going to lead with my right hand again. Number 17. Number 18. Number 19 is a fun one, and funny to watch a beginner do this because their left hand just goes crazy if the right hand is accenting every note. But it's only the right hand that's accenting. The left hand needs to just tap. The left hand just needs to tap. Just tap. Let the right hand do the accents. Okay? Number 20, same idea in reverse. 21 is a lot of fun. You really have to think about this one. The right hand, if I'm leading with my right hand, which I will, the right hand does a full stroke every time. The left hand is doing a downstroke followed by an upstroke, down, up, down, up. And a young drummer cannot do this unless it's just painfully slow. So I'm going to go slow. Ready? This is ready, full, down. Number 22 is even more fun, more challenging because it starts with an unaccented note, which is just counterintuitive. So my right hand, I'm going to lead with my right. Starts low. Left hand is ready for a full stroke. I assure you, I have to think about that. Oh, you gotta check this out. Have you ever seen a squirrel give another squirrel the stink eye? I'm telling you, it's a jungle out here, people. For number 23, I've written it in 6/8 time. I could have written it as eighth note triplets, but those little threes kind of clutter the page, you know what I'm saying? So I just put it in 6/8 just to keep things a little bit cleaner. downstroke, upstroke, tap. So there we have one page of two-level drumming. Once again, I owe everything on this page to Elliot Fine and Marvin Dahlgren. If you want to pursue this more, and you really should pick up Accent on Accents, Book 1 by Elliot Fine and Marvin Dahlgren. You'll be glad you did.